Here we go.
Okay, this is from TMZ, our good friends at TMZ. Heartbroken. Jonathan Majors heartbroken after Marvel pivots focus to RDJ. Jonathan Majors is expressing heartbreak after Marvel officially announced Robert Downey Jr. as the franchise's new villain, pivoting away from his Kang the Conqueror character. We caught up with the actor in West Hollywood Tuesday, where he explained why RDJ Doctor Doom news was bittersweet. As he put it, Doctor Doom's introduction into the MCU is pretty cool, but he loved playing Kang. And so it's only natural he's bummed about the Marvel's redirection.
Right.
And then he goes into, he basically, fans have left Jonathan being blacklisted from the MCU, has been too harsh a punishment, given that he was found guilty of a misdemeanor assault and harassment and given no jail time. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel has some explaining to do. If they're going to pivot to Doctor Doom and RDJ as Doctor Doom, which complicates things, how will they wrap up everything from Phase 4 and all this and all the Kang stuff? Will they do it in a moment? Will they use a something to wrap all those things up? It seems sort of dumb for them to push in that direction and then do a hard pivot.
My feeling is this:
you could have moved forward with Kang and recast Kang. They've done it. They could have had Robert Downey Jr. used from his character from Tropic Thunder. It could have been Kang.
My feeling is this: I don't care about Kang.
Yes,
never cared about. I never cared about Kang. In fact, when it was announced that Kang was be the new villain, I know a little bit about the Kang story. I never liked the Kang story, and I was never excited about the Kang story. And this whole Avengers Kang dynasty, to me, that was to me without the Jonathan Majors stuff, didn't excite me whatsoever. So my feeling is why do we need to wrap up the Kang story? Can't we just let it be that there's a stadium full of Kangs and now move on? Why does it need to be wrapped up? You know, are they going to lose a lot of money, a lot of box office because they didn't wrap up the Kang story? No, move on. Go to Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is a better story than the Kang story.
Well, by the way, I was in the room at Hall H during Comic-Con, and Kevin admitted when we introduce something, it pays off later. He had a specific mention of that. It was related to the new Captain America. I think there will be a Kang wrap up, but it will be done in a really clever way. I think they will figure it out.
No, look, think about it. What if they don't wrap up the Kang story? What damage is that going to cause? What damage will that cause?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, why spend the money? Why spend the resources? Why risk making things worse by wrapping up the Kang story? Just let it be, move on, start afresh, and tell a better story. Because the moment you refer back to Kang, you're going to weaken everything that you've just done at that moment. He's done. They defeated Kang. Good job, Ant-Man. Well done. Move on.
And then move on. Well, that may be the way to wrap it up. Just ignore it. I really think we're going to get a lot of ignoring of Phase 4, but they will explain a bunch of these things away. Maybe in almost a comedic montage. Remember in Ant-Man when they had the montage with what's that actor? I'm having a Gary.
Paul Rudd?
Not Paul Rudd.
Okay.
It was in the movie, Hispanic.
Oh, with Luis.
Yes, Luis, where he does that thing where like tells a funny story. I think that's how they wrap up all the loose ends.
I'll let him have that one. If that's how they do it, I'm all on board with that.
Yeah, let's have Luis like tell a story and wrap up every loose end from Phase 4. And are we in Phase 5? Are we Phase? They're not. They didn't mention phases at that whole H thing.
You said there's no timeline. They didn't show you a timeline.
They didn't show a timeline. They didn't announce any Disney Plus shows. And yeah, it was really interesting. It was very interesting the way that panel went. But the other thing is Jonathan Majors has a movie that's on the shelf right now.
Mm-hmm.
By all accounts, did we review it from Sundance?
Yes, we did.
It's a film called Magazine Dreams. It was at the Sundance Film Festival. And I remember it was either Focus Features who bought it.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did was...
No, I think Fox actually bought it.
Yeah, they bought the movie. And then what they did was, we're doing a big promotion for this film in December for Oscars.
Right.
He's the star, and by all accounts, he gave an Oscar-winning performance.
Yeah. There was a lot of great buzz coming out of Sundance for Magazine Dreams. And I believe it was Fox Searchlight who bought it.
Yeah, so this movie came out at Sundance in January 2023. I already subscribed to the newsletter and got a great review, and it's sitting on a shelf. A 9 out of 10.
Yeah, from our harshest critic.
Yeah, it did so. And it's about a guy that wants to be on the cover of modeling magazines or workout magazines. Anyways, and Jonathan Majors apparently is phenomenal in it.
Yeah.
That movie is just sitting on a shelf. Some weird Comic-Con news that has not been getting a lot of attention. Here we are. San Diego Comic-Con sex trafficking sting resulted in 14 arrests. This is crazy. The link is in the private chat, Alan.
Okay.
But this is crazy. During now, how were there women dressed as Harley Quinns? I don't know. We'll see. But this is strange. I'll read the story. This is from Channel 7 San Diego local. 10 potential sex trafficking victims were recovered during the operation by the San Diego Human Trafficking Task Force. Can you read this? Can you see it?
Yeah. The anti-human trafficking sting last weekend's San Diego Comic-Con International resulted in 14 arrests of people seeking to purchase sex and the recovery of 10 potential sex trafficking victims, authorities announced Wednesday. The operation involved law enforcement officers working undercover as sex buyers in order to identify traffickers and victims, as well as posting fake advertisements soliciting sex. From Thursday to Saturday, 14 alleged sex buyers were arrested and 10 victims recovered, including one who was 16 years old, according to Attorney General's office, which said support services were provided for the victims. Unfortunately, sex traffickers capitalize on large-scale events like as Comic-Con to exploit their victims for profit, says California's Attorney General Rob Bonta. The operation was conducted by a multi-agency San Diego Human Trafficking Task Force composed of federal and state law enforcement agencies and prosecutorial offices.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising and not surprising at all.
Mm-hmm. Shocked, not shocked.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's definitely weird. I don't think I ever saw anyone that looked like they might be involved in that, but it's weird that big events like that's happening behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the worst thing that happened to me at Comic-Con was how expensive the drinks were. Like, talking to a Robert Meyer Burnett, he was mortified that one glass of wine cost $25. And like, that's the thing. Like, hotel bars, it's funny, we're getting into this. Hotel bars are, not only did they pour and they measure the pour, if you're in a good dive bar, you just go like this, but at a hotel bar, they measure the pours, which is lame. And then you get charged the most money. We were at I think 3 nights in a row, we ended up at the Tivoli, which is the best dive bar in San Diego. Go to that bar. It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
You will love it. Alan, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, now back to sex trafficking. all I can tell you is I'm glad they were able to arrest these people, but I can tell you 14 arrests is the tip of the iceberg. There was a lot more of that going on, and sadly, it is so pervasive, especially in California. California, I've seen we've reviewed documentaries about sex trafficking in California, and it is rampant. And like I said, 14 is the number may sound large, but that's a drop. It should be 10 times that amount that was happening in San Diego at that time, if not more.